California Department of Veterans Affairs Secretary, Dr. Veto Mbisiani. California State Assembly Member, Mark Stone. California State Senator, Bill Monning. United States Congressman, Sam Farr. And the United States Department of Veterans Affairs National Cemetery Administration Director, George Eisenbach. Please welcome California Department of Veterans Affairs Secretary, Dr. Veto Mbisiani.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Governor Edmund G. Brown Jr. and the California Department of Veterans Affairs, I welcome you to the grand opening of our new California Central Coast Veterans Cemetery. This is California's third state-run veterans cemetery. Our oldest is adjacent to our Yountville Veterans Home in Napa County and dates from the 1890s. We also have our Northern California Veterans Cemetery in Igo, up north in Shasta County, which opened in 2005. The seeds of the California Central Coast Veterans Cemetery were planted in 1992 when it became clear that the Fort Ord Army Post was destined for closure. The Retired Officers Association in Monterey proposed the idea of a cemetery on these grounds to the United Veterans Council, or UVC, which then asked 5 local veterans and tasked them with the mighty task of making this veterans cemetery a reality. Those 5 veterans are well known to many of you from the Monterey area: Bill Williams, Jack McDonough, Charles Hopper, Malcolm Giblin, and our own Jack Stewart. During the 1990s, these veterans enlisted the support of several politicians, notably State Senator Henry J. Mello, State Assemblyman Bruce McPherson, then Congressman Leon Panetta, and Congressman Sam Farr. Initially, despite their best efforts, they gained little ground in convincing either the federal government or the state of California to establish a veterans cemetery here. Yet the strong and vibrant veterans community in Monterey remained determined. 5 years ago, momentum began to build, and finally, in 2013, the necessary funding for this cemetery came together. The National Cemetery Administration of the United States Department of Veterans Affairs approved $6.8 million. The California State Legislature supplied $2 million with support from Senator Monning and Assembly Speaker Emeritus John Perez. The Capital Campaign and the Packard Foundation provided $614,000, and the Central Coast Veterans Cemetery Foundation provided $200,000. These efforts are the very definition of collaboration and teamwork, and thank you to everyone involved. I also want to thank all of our CalVet staff members whose work brought us this far and will carry the cemetery into the future. Mr. Dan Fahey, Assistant Deputy Secretary for our Cemeteries and Memorials, and Daria Mayer, the manager of this cemetery. After construction began in March 2015, CalVet worked closely with the Monterey County Military and Veterans Office to receive and process applications. It took no time at all for CalVet and county staff to be overwhelmed by the community's interest in this cemetery. This year, as we neared completion of construction, we found that we had additional needs to support operations here. Many organizations responded, and now we are extremely grateful to the Marina Foundation, the Fleet Reserve Association of Monterey, American Legion Post 31, the United Veterans Council, and many individuals and other groups in the Monterey area who stepped forward to provide us with all the flags you see flying here today, the benches in the committal shelter, the beautiful Navy bell we will use for all future Navy services, and many other items integral to the proper functioning of this sacred space. And thank you especially to Steve Emerson, President of the Marina Foundation, for this critical support. Now that opening day is finally here, I want to talk for a moment about the extraordinary interest in the California Central Coast Veterans Cemetery since construction began. Since July 2015, before we even opened, we've received more than 1,000 applications for interment for veterans and their dependents who intend to make the California Central Coast Veterans Cemetery their final resting place. As of today, our opening day, CalVet has approved applications for 1,000 veterans, 750 spouses, and 5 children of veterans. This is truly remarkable. We've approved applications for veterans who served in nearly every major American conflict from the Spanish-American War to the current wars in Iran and Afghanistan. Our Spanish-American veteran was a German immigrant who joined the Marine Corps in 1897 and served with the Marine Detachment on the USS Baltimore in 1898 during the Battle of Manila Bay. Even a tiny sampling of our applications demonstrates the vast historical breadth that makes our new cemetery a landmark starting today. Our World War II veterans include Marines who fought across the Pacific, airmen who flew the hump over the Himalayas, soldiers from the famed 442nd Regiment who fought in Italy, nurses who patched up our wounded and cared for the ill in France, England, and the United States, and sailors who brought us victory at sea. We are honored today to have several World War II veterans on hand, including several women who served in the Navy, the Women's Army Corps, and the Marine Corps. Thank you very much for your service and for gracing us with your presence here today. These grounds will also become the home for hundreds of veterans who served in conflicts in Korea, Vietnam, the Dominican Republic, Grenada, Panama, the Persian Gulf, Kosovo, Iraq, Afghanistan, throughout the entire Cold War, and in numerous other expeditions around the world. This is truly sacred ground where for generations to come, people will remember and honor the brave men and women who answered our nation's call and served with honor. As honored as CalVet is to provide a final resting place for our veterans, we are also proud to serve hundreds of their spouses. Many of the spouses were from the Monterey area, but some also come from Austria, England, France, Germany, Japan, and Korea. Spouses deserve our deepest gratitude, for it's often the spouse or partner who provides the frontline care to veterans struggling with post-traumatic stress, depression, traumatic brain injury, and other physical and mental wounds of military service and war. In addition, we've approved applications for 5 children of veterans who either died before the age of 21 or were permanently disabled. We are honored to provide them a final resting place alongside their parents. As we open with a distinguished clientele of soldiers, sailors, Marines, airmen, coasties, and merchant mariners, we think to the future. The plans for this cemetery call for 11 phases that will expand gradually into the very large area behind me. Today is the first day of our cemetery's perpetual life, and shortly we will begin operations by interring one of the founding fathers of this cemetery, Major William Williams, and his wife, Maria Williams. In closing, I want to thank again all of those who made the cemetery a reality, to thank the CalVet staff, especially Assistant Deputy Secretary Daniel Fahey and Daria Maher, our new cemetery manager, who have worked so hard to support this project against numerous obstacles, and to thank all of you who have shown up today to show your respect and your support for veterans and their families. Thank you very much.